Kandia with Kandia Haynesworth Designs, and I am in the official classroom for the Sew It and Show It workshops. Today, this is embroidery report card number 7, where I will be test driving these applique and embroidery scissors made by Tooltron. Now, I purchased these off of Blitsy.com, and I specifically bought these because they were only 4¼ inches long. They were super cute with this pink marbleized handle, and I thought that it would be a good addition to my embroidery scissors. Let's get started. Here's the area where my 6 needle and my 10 needle sits, but in between the area I have like a little buffet of supplies that I normally will grab in the middle of projects. So I have my bobbins and my grips and my needles and so forth. But if you direct your attention here, this is where my little scissors live, and this little pair of scissors actually just fits so perfectly. And so today we are going to test drive it. Now I do have an extra pair, so I want to see how these works. I haven't actually cut on them, so I don't know if they're sharp. I don't know if my fingers are too fat for them. I don't even know, but you'll get a chance to see firsthand and you'll be the judge. Okay, so I'm going to be testing this design out twice. We are just doing a simple applique. It's an oval applique, and it has words in it and it has numbers in it. Okay, so no fancy designs or anything like that. But the most important part is I just want to focus on how well these applique scissors cut out. So the first design, I'm going to just be using this polyester satin. Okay, and I just want to see how sharp, it goes around those corners. And then on the second design, we're going to be doing the same duplicated design. It's just going to be a simple oval patch, except I'm going to be using a regular calico cotton fabric, but I'm going to have batting underneath of it because I really want to see how well, these scissors hold up with the thickness of the fabric. Okay, so I'm going to just set the extra set aside as well as the fabric and the batting. Okay, and I'm just going to grab the scissors that I plan to use, and then the machine pretty much is set, and it's going to start with just the trace outline of the applique itself. Okay, so now I'm just going to place the fabric over the tack down, or the trace outline, not the tack down. And I don't have anything under it. I'm placing it on top of the stabilizer. And now with this design, even though we're not doing a review of the embroidery design, it moves straight forward into the tack down of the embroidery design. Usually you'll have 2 trace outs. You'll have the first one and then you'll have the second one, but this design doesn't do that. And so that means that after it tacks down the embroidery design out here right now, it will give me the opportunity of cutting it. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take it off the machine so I can get a closer look up on it, and then I'm going to start cutting. Okay, so this is where I need you to be the judge. I'm just going to reposition this camera and try to get a better look up on that. Yep. All right, and then I'm just going to start cutting. Okay, so good so far. It was very sharp. I wasn't even ready, and I just started cutting. All right, so it's eating away. That's good. Okay, good. Good so far. But once again, I am using a single layer fabric. But it's cutting this this slick fabric very nicely. Okay, so I have to keep reminding myself that we are not doing a review of the embroidery design, and we are reviewing these scissors, okay? Because if you look closely, you can see the hairs, the fibers of this fabric bleeding through this bold embroidery, and I believe that it was because the way it was designed. Usually, like I said before, there will be a trace out line, then you place your fabric, then another tack down line, and then the zigzag, okay? And in between that tack down line of the fabric and the zigzag is where you would cut your fabric, okay? You would cut it or trim it with your scissors. So for the next design, I'm going to, once it does its placement, I'm going to back the design up again, let it tack it down, and see if that makes a difference in the overall finish of the design. All right, so we are going to let it do a trace out line first, and then I'm going to stop the machine, and then I'm going to place the fabric, and then I'm going to back it up, and I'm going to have it do another tack down line, because I'm wondering if it makes a difference in the process of the embroidery design. So I really want to be fair to these scissors. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I just want you to see, I don't even want to stop the camera because I want you to see exactly what I'm doing. I'm just going to take it off the machine, and I'm going to put my batting on. Okay, like so, and then I'm going to put the fabric on. And then I'm going to back the machine up so it can do another tack down line. And I'm hoping that the tack down line opposed to the zigzag stitch will allow the scissors to really get in there and get close to that edge of the embroidery design, because that makes a difference. If the scissors can't get to the edge, then you're not going to have a good result. Okay, so I've backed the machine up. Now it's going to do a tack down line, and I'm going to stop the machine. So I already pressed the reserve button, and I'm going to trim it out, and then I'm going to allow it to do the zigzag stitch. Okay, so now I'm going to take it off of the machine, because I want to really be fair. You know, like I said, I know some people think that I grade harshly, but you know, all of these little things matter when we are spending our money and we are buying stuff. You know, how well does it work? Okay, so I'm gonna go in there, and I'm going to just start cutting. Now remember, I have batting under here, and so, well, it's cutting. I don't know if you can see that. It's cutting, not with ease, not like through butter, but it's cutting. All right, and so I'm just going to turn it around. Just making sure that you can see that. I have to make sure that I'm on camera. And look, I already cut the fabric because I guess this is not the way it's supposed to be done for this particular design. Just gonna maneuver it. I just really want you to see this whole process, so depending on what grade they get, I don't get any nasty emails saying I wasn't being fair or something like that. You know, because people they take my embroidery report card very seriously. I mean, you should see some of the emails that people have sent just because of my opinion on something. And ladies and gentlemen, it is just my opinion. Yeah, to get all bent out of shape. But I guess, to be quite frank, if it's your company, I guess you probably would be sensitive about it. But I gotta tell you, if you get a bad review or a not so favorable review, because I don't even really give bad reviews. If you look at the report card, you can't even get an F with me, and I tell you why. And the reason is because I at least give you a credit for an effort. So I don't think anything is a failure. So F is not even a grade on the embroidery report card. All right, so I'm just really trying to get very close because, you know, I'm used to getting close to when I'm cutting. And so I think that I got as close as I possibly can get with these little scissors. Okay, now, if I had to really judge the overall feel of it, my fingers is a medium-sized finger, I think. I don't think that I have little tiny fingers. They may be, you know, on a little thick side, but for the most part, they're comfortable. They're not bad. They're scissors. Okay, so I'm sorry, I got off focus. So anyway, I put it back on the camera. I'm sorry, I put it back on the embroidery machine. And then I'm just going to allow the machine to do its thing. And really, the result of this embroidery design does matter, because the result may be either good or bad, and it may be the result of me not being able to get really close to the edge to cut the fabric as close as to the line that I should be. Okay, so I stopped it in the middle of the embroidery part because we don't even need that. I'm looking at the edges here, okay, and you probably can't see it on camera, but oh yes you can. You can see it. You can see that the batting is coming up, bleeding through. Now, I still want to be very fair. So the reason why that this batting is coming through like this is because I wasn't able to get that close. However, I'm going to do this design one more time. So the first time I did it with the piece of like polyester satin. The second time I did it, it was a calico fabric, which is cotton, and it is topped on top of a piece of batting, okay, like a quilting. All right, so now I'm going to do it with a thicker fabric that doesn't need the batting, but it's not as thin as the satin. So there's 3 different kinds of examples, and it better be good. All right, so I'm just going to take it off the machine, and I want you to see me doing this whole entire thing. And so no one can say, well, we didn't know what she did when it was off camera. I'm just going to put a piece of stabilizer over the hoop. Okay. Put it back on the hoop. Make sure the hoop is nice and tight. And then I'm putting it back on the machine because I want you to see I'm not doing anything to manipulate it. So if my review is outstanding, great. If it's not, you've seen why. Okay, so now I have a piece of fabric. Okay, now I've used this fabric before in a giraffe design that I recently did. And I didn't have a problem cutting it with my other embroidery scissors, okay? So we're going to try it with this. All right, now this is like a velveteen fabric, so it's not super thin, but it's not super thick, okay? It's a low-piled fabric. It feels very nice, okay? All right, so we're just going to move forward, and we're going to allow the machine to do its tack down. I'm sorry, its outline. And then I'm going to put this piece of fabric on top, and then I'm going to allow it to do a tack down. I'm going to cut it, and then we're going to see the end results of the embroidery, because that's how we can really judge, you know, if these scissors are good, besides the over part of the cutting of it. All right, so I'm putting the fabric down. Okay. And then I'm going to, oops, nope, 1 second. I just messed up because I didn't bring it back like I said I was. Okay, but it's all on camera, so you see exactly where I messed up at, and that's okay. We're just going to take it back. All right. It's just one little step, and it didn't get far. All right, so it's doing a little tack down. And I'm going to take it off the machine. I'm going to cut it. I want you to really look at these scissors when I'm cutting. Alright, so I'm taking it off the machine. I'm going to make sure that it stays on camera. Nice focus. Alright. Alright. And like I said, this is a thicker fabric. And I'm just being very careful not to cut that tack down line. Because I want to get as close as I possibly can. Because you need to get really close to the line. Wow, I can tell you one thing, it's not cutting like butter. And so I know this is a thick fabric, but these just doesn't cut as smoothly as I'm used to it cutting. Alright, so just want to make sure that you can see exactly what I'm doing here. Let's see. So I'm trying to get close. I really am. It's fighting it almost. It's fighting the thickness of the fabric, but it is cutting. It's just very jagged. It's not a smooth cut. And so I've used this on 3 different kinds of fabrics, but overall I haven't finished yet. And another thing too is when your scissors fight you, it adds time to your work process. So that I gotta tell you, I am not pleased with, because you have to constantly go back and make sure that it's good. But I really just want to be fair in what I'm doing, and I want to make sure that I really take the time, because to be quite frank, if it was a real order, I wouldn't be rushing, right? But if it was a real order, I wouldn't be fighting either. I would have just switched scissors. Okay? And so I'm just really trying to get in there to give the machine an opportunity to finish this design off very nicely according to how well or how close I can get up on this applique tack down line. Alright, this is the last time I'm going to go around. Then I'm going to put it back on the machine, because I got to make sure that I don't cut that tack down line. Just want to make sure all of this matters, and it's very close at this point. I must add that it is very close. And so this is why embroidery report card was made in the first place, for reasons like this, because I now have bought 2 pairs of these scissors, because I share, and I thought it would be a good opportunity to share. And now, you know, how do you feel when you buy something that's not great or is great? Okay, after you done spent your money, obviously if it is great, you feel great. But if it's not great, then you're stuck. Okay, and then nobody really knows about it. All right, because on the websites, you have to submit reviews to be approved. So if it's an embroidery design, for example, you have to submit the design, and if the embroidery designer likes your comments, then she will post it to her website. Okay, but if she don't like your comments, you will never see what happened really. Okay, all right, so I know I got off topic, so I'm just going to continue with this design. I'm going to allow the embroidery machine up. I know I shouldn't put my finger right there, but I'm going to allow the embroidery machine to do its thing, and the end result will tell us, you know, how successfully close I was able to get to the tack down line. So hopefully it will be good. It doesn't look bad at all. I'm going to get a little closer so you can see. It doesn't look bad at all. Alright, I just wanted you to see it doing its thing. And it is catching for the most part, even though it did look kind of shoddy at first. And I didn't curse, I said shoddy. That's not what I really wanted to say, but that's what I said. Alright, so I'm going to let it finish up. I'm not going to interrupt it, but I just wanted you to see while it was in action. Alright, so I have embroidered the same exact design 3 different times, okay, using 3 different kinds of fabric. And the one thing that is consistent with all 3 designs is that fabric is bleeding through, okay, and I have used the same exact pair of scissors. All right, so the only time that happens when you are embroidering or appliquing a design is when you are not able to get as close to the tack down line as you need to, meaning you really need to cut close, so when you are doing your final stitching, it can jump over the tack line onto the fabric and outside of the tack down line, and I just wasn't able to do that very closely, so therefore you have the fabric bleeding through the final step of the embroidery. Now, that's actually one of the problems with the scissors, but when I do these kind of embroidery report card reviews, I have certain criteria that must be met. Now, for tools and materials, it's a little bit different for the review, okay? It's not like a design, so I have different expectations that need to be met, and for the most part, I am looking for if the item itself met my expectations, if you know, if I could describe the comfort level of the item, does the item make it easy, my task easy, you know, and I'm also looking for the quality of the item, how the item is made, the craftsmanship of it. So if you really want to know my final overall opinion and grade for these applique and embroidery scissors, here it goes. Well, that's all for today. Thank you so much for joining in on embroidery report card number 7, where I was reviewing and test driving these applique embroidery scissors. I am very interested to see what you all think. I really appreciate your comments below, and I am going to share these extra pair of scissors with one of you lucky viewers. So you can be honest, you can make suggestions on maybe different fabrics I should have used or different embroidery designs. I'm always open for suggestions and comments and feedback, and you can be clear, you can be honest. Just don't be rude or disrespectful, please. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. Please come visit us at Embroidery Boss on Facebook, or you can stop by my page, KandiaHaynesworth.com. And until then, I'll see you next time.